Hello everyone and welcome to the Williams TopsTV community. I'm excited to take you on a fascinating tour of the 10 most terrible things found at Chernobyl. Pripyat, Ukraine is a place that is considered one of the most terrifying places on Earth, and to this day, it remains highly radioactive. However, despite the dangers, people still choose to visit and explore its abandoned ruins. In this video, I will show you from a bloody red forest to the elephant's foot. Let's delve together into this mysterious and shadowy place as we discover the secrets that history has left behind. Let's get started. Number 10. Amusement Park. Many might not know that the Pripyat Amusement Park was not yet completed on April 26, 1986, so it had never officially opened. Today, it is an iconic abandoned site of the Chernobyl disaster and is a stark reminder of all that could have been. Unfortunately, Pripyat's park and attractions never managed to amuse the masses. It opened briefly to the public on April 27th, just hours before evacuation orders were issued. It was not ready to receive customers or with the rides enabled, but residents had the opportunity to visit the fairgrounds to get acquainted with it. This site is one of the creepiest places on Earth. The bumper cars are abandoned. The Muscovite wheel is frozen in place, rusted, and discolored. Number 9. Fungi. In 2002, scientists discovered fungi growing inside the damaged fourth reactor, where radiation levels remain extremely high. By verifying their rapid development, they deduced that the radiation was feeding them. Samples of this type of fungus were sent into space, specifically to the International Space Station, where the danger of radiation exposure is always a possibility. Experiments on the station revealed that the fungus was using melanin to transform radioactive gamma rays into chemical energy, and that this capability may prove useful in future space exploration. They hope that the fungus can be used to protect equipment and crew from deadly radiation during long space flights. Number 8. The Bloody Red Forest. This forest is a place where all the pine trees have turned blood red and die soon after. The most frightening thing is that, even decades after the catastrophe, these trees do not decompose as they normally would. Instead, they rot to dust. 10 years ago, scientists conducted tests by filling garbage bags with uncontaminated leaves and leaving them in contaminated and uncontaminated wooded areas for nearly a year. They found that the bags outside the exclusion zone decompose normally, but those inside decompose at a much slower rate. This negatively affects the ability of the Chernobyl ecosystem to recover with nutrients. Number 7. Dolls. The atmosphere in Pripyat is truly eerie, especially due to the numerous broken dolls scattered around town. These old toys, now worn out by time and radiation, bring a feeling worthy of a horror movie. In every corner, these creepy dolls seem to stare at you with their empty, piercing eyes. Some sit in windows, others on bed frames, and many are scattered among the rubble, while some are even wearing antique masks. Interestingly, this disturbing scene was not created by the former residents before they were evacuated, but was the result of the intervention of tourists visiting the site. Looking for the most shocking photo taking, some visitors rearranged these figures in a macabre manner to obtain more disturbing images. It is surprising to see that even some dolls look relatively new, suggesting that this strange custom continues to be practiced over time. Number 6. Grandmothers. These grandmothers are not terrible, quite the contrary. They are examples of courage and resilience after the Chernobyl disaster. After the nuclear accident, the Soviet government evacuated 116,000 people and relocated them out of the affected area. However, some of the residents, especially those from smaller villages, decided to return to the area, despite the risks. A group of about 1,200 people, called self-settled, chose to return to the exclusion zone in the months and years following the disaster. And among them, the most prominent were these brave grandmothers, who accounted for about 80% of the survivors. Despite knowing that the soil was contaminated, these brave women devoted themselves to growing food and raising animals on that radiation-affected land. Although eating meat from the animals raised in the area involved risks, they, aged between 70 and 80, remain healthy. Number 5. Milk. During the accident, one of the toxins disseminated was cesium-137, which can have serious consequences for human health for at least a generation. In 2018, a group of scientists reported that cows continued to feed on cesium-137 through vegetation and subsequently transferred it to humans through milk. The research, published in the journal Environment International, revealed that milk obtained from villages in Ukraine, far from the Chernobyl nuclear power plant, contains 5 times the recommended dose of cesium for adults and 12 times the recommended dose for children. This represents a significant public health concern and highlights the lingering effects of the nuclear disaster on the food chain in the region. Before we continue, don't forget to like and subscribe. We also invite you to turn on the notification bell so you don't miss any of our upcoming videos. Number 4. Tourists. Each year, about 12,000 tourists visit an area called the exclusion zone, which has a nuclear past. However, with proper precautions, this visit is considered relatively safe. Hotels in that area have one important rule. Visitors must leave their radioactive shoes outside, showing that they take safety seriously. However, there is one major concern. It is not known whether the tour company taking visitors to the area has services to dispose of nuclear waste. This is crucial because no one would want to bring potentially contaminated clothing with them without a proper way to dispose of it. According to tour reports, the amount of radiation in the area is similar to what one might receive on a round-trip flight from San Francisco to Paris, which means the risk is low. Still, caution should be exercised and staff instructions should be followed during the 11-hour tour. Number 3. Graffiti. Rumored to hail from destinations such as Belarus and Germany, and ignoring reports of deadly levels of radiation, over time, they have slowly crept into the exclusion zone with their arsenal of multicolored paint pots, leaving their artistic works, some hauntingly beautiful, others equally disturbing, in and around Pripyat. Much of the most dramatic graffiti is found in the city of Pripyat, where artists portrayed silhouettes of the abandoned city's missing residents, who were evacuated the day after the crash on April 27, 1986, never to return. For example, one building depicts a little girl with a bow in her ponytail, while outside, a little boy with his toy truck appears to peek around a corner as if to surprise someone. In other buildings, the walls are adorned with silhouettes of people who seem to dance, while in another, 3 children are frozen in midair as if they have just jumped from an invisible trampoline and float while embracing each other, perhaps in joy, perhaps in horror, which is left to the viewer's discretion. Number 2. Gas masks. Within the desolate and enigmatic exclusion zone of Pripyat lies an abandoned building that was once a bustling high school. Inside, hidden in the shadows, lie objects that tell a silent but powerful story, the largest collection of gas masks in the entire city. As you enter one of the ruined classrooms, you are confronted with an eerie sight. The floor is covered with a chilling tapestry of gas masks, each one representing a memory lost in time. It's hard not to let your imagination run wild and think of the lives that once clung to these masks in search of protection against an invisible and deadly threat. But despite the shocking scene, the reality is equally heartbreaking. These masks never served their purpose during that fateful accident. On that dark day in 1986, the forced evacuation was carried out so quickly that there was no time to take precautions. The gas masks remained in storage at the school, silent witnesses to a tragic chapter in human history. Number 1. Elephant's Foot. The elephant's foot is considered the most dangerous molten radioactive material on Earth. It is located under Nuclear Reactor 4 at Chernobyl, and being near it for as little as 30 seconds could cause dizziness and fatigue. After a few minutes of exposure, it could severely affect the body's cells and ultimately be fatal. Although today the level of radioactivity has decreased, it still represents an extreme danger. It is important to note that this part of Chernobyl is not accessible for tours due to the high danger. However, there is an organized tour that allows visitors to access the control room of Reactor 4 for a short period of time. Of course, appropriate protective clothing is required, as the room still contains significant levels of radiation. Thanks for joining us on this exciting tour of the 10 most terrible things found at Chernobyl. We hope you have enjoyed this informative experience. Remember to subscribe to stay tuned for our exciting content in the future. Don't miss out on the new adventures we have prepared for you. Until next time.